Hey friends! I was recently praying over the equipment that we have in the sound booth and was convicted to begin to pray differently. Most Thursdays and Sundays, our booth team will gather to pray, and we'll usually include a sentence or two about God protecting our equipment, helping everything to work smoothly, and then giving us wisdom and discernment to catch technical difficulties before they happen. As I was praying, I remembered the parable of the three servants. When the master was about to leave on a trip, he gave three different servants three different amounts of money. When he returned, he realized what the servants had done with his money, and he praised the first two servants and then scolded the last one for wasting his time and money. Before, when I've read this parable, I've always thought that the master was a bit harsh to the last servant. I've had it explained to me dozens of times, but in my lingering thoughts, I've always felt like, hey, at least he didn't spend it or lose it and end up with nothing. That changed though when I put it in context of our booth equipment. We are so incredibly blessed to be under leadership that has boldly invested in worship and tech. And I'm really blessed to be able to be on the team that gets to use really excellent equipment. If our tech team treated our equipment like the three servants did their money, what would that look like? I imagine the third servant would probably be afraid to break things. He would only use the presets that came with the software, only push the buttons he was told he could push, or even go to the extent of putting it all in a safe box, tucking it away so that he could be sure nothing would break. The second servant would probably get a bit more creative with it, dial things in, create settings and looks that fit our church family best. He would probably go and research and learn how to use this equipment to the best of his ability so that it can really serve our congregation well. Then there's the first servant. The master gave him the biggest portion because he was the most able. If he got his hands on our booth equipment, imagine the ways he would multiply its effects. He'd be dreaming of ways our set could be benefiting those in our community who don't have the same resources as us. He'd be exploring the limits of what our technology could accomplish and dreaming up ways to carry that vision into the future of our church. If we take this example into our daily lives, we've been blessed with an abundance of comfort and security, to the extent that it's often a struggle to remember to rely on God because we're too comfortable. What would happen if we started to see our daily comforts not as something we're entitled to or something that our family has earned, but as a talent that God has given us to work with? Should we be living in a way that's playing it safe, just doing our best to make sure we don't mess up and lose our comforts like the third servant? Or should we be living boldly, trying to imagine new and creative ways to invest the talents and comforts that God has given us to better our community and continue spreading the gospel to those who need Jesus most? God has provided in abundance for us. So, church family, let's get out of our comfort zones together and begin to pray into how we could be and should be multiplying the talents that we have been entrusted with.